All right, guys. Test is on Monday. I am at your service to answer questions today. If you want to see something out of the review, I'll go over it. If you want to go over something from the homework, I'll do that too. Whatever it is that you want to talk about. I'm going to post my answer key with all my work for the review after school today. So that'll be up over the weekend since we only get the one review day in class. But I want to make sure that I'm answering any and every question you guys have. Number 10, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Every question we take. Okay.
So to find the center, when it's in this form, remember the center of the circle is going to be HK. And it equals r squared. This is one of those formulas that you're going to want to memorize. The center will be HK, and the radius, I'm going to have to do the square root of r squared, because it'll tell me r squared. I'm going to need to do the square root. Yes, sir?
Are you giving us the formulas on the test, or do we have to?
You have to memorize them. So this would be another place over the weekend. It might be a really good idea to write down all the different formulas that we've used. Remember, in your book, any important formulas are inside a blue box. So if you go through chapter 3, anywhere you see a blue box, that's probably something that you should stop and look at and write down and study. Okay? How do I take something in this form and put it into HK form? Yes. We're going to group our X's and Y's. We're going to complete the square. We're going to have 2 squares to complete. What do I do with things that don't have X's and Y's? Move it to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 41 from both sides so that I can get it out of my way. So I'm going to have a group that is 4x squared plus 24x. I'm going to have a group that is, and this has addition in between it, 4y squared minus 16y, and that'll be equal to negative 41. When we go to complete the square, what am I allowed to have in front of x squared?
1.
Just a 1. So what do I do with those 4s? Move them out. Divide both pieces by 4, kick it to the front. So 4, then I would have x squared plus 6x plus I'm not sure what. We're going to kick this 4 out to the front also. So I would have y squared minus 4y plus I don't know what is equal to negative 41. How many things are we going to add over here? 2. What do I need on both of these lines? What did I kick out to the front of both of these? 4. So I need 4s that are going to be multiplied to whatever else I put on the inside. How do I figure out what goes on the inside? Divide by 2 and then square it. So what goes here? So 9 and 9. Yep. Negative 4 divided by 2 squared. I get 4. So I also put a 4 over here. So tell me about my first set of parentheses, the one with the x's. Yep. 4 in the front. X plus 3 squared. What about with my y's? Y minus 2 squared. I'm going to have to simplify things on the other side, right? So I have negative 41 plus 36 plus 16. Are you guys okay with that? Okay. So what do I get when I add all of those things together? $11. It's not in standard form yet.
Divided by 4.
Divide everything by 4. Because I'm not allowed to have anything in front of those parentheses where it's not in standard form. Divide everybody by 4. So I'm going to have x plus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 11 over 4. Where is the center of this circle? Negative 3, 2. So that's one piece they wanted.
Oh, the radius.
And now I need the radius. What do I do to find the radius? Square root. What kind of number am I square rooting? A fraction. How do we square root fractions?
Oh my, no.
I could do the square root of 11 over 4, but that's the same as the square root of 11 over the square root of 4.
And then rationalize it.
What is the square root of 4?
2.
2. So I don't have to worry about rationalizing the denominator because I can take the square root of that, right? So for my radius, I have the square root of 11 over 2. If that hadn't been a nice, pretty square on the bottom, perfect square, then I would have to rationalize my denominator. An extra, yes. Back in that red set of papers, not the blue one at the top, but the next one that you would come to going down. Yes, sir.
What happens if, it's pretty early, it says 4 in parentheses x plus 3 and then another 4 y minus 3, right? What happens if there's like a 4 and a 3? Is that possible?
Good question. With circles, these would have to be the exact same number. If they're different numbers, then it actually makes an ellipse, like an oval shape, and we haven't talked about those yet. So that's a great question. Yes, Amaya?
Can you do 11A?
11A, absolutely. Absolutely. Before I go on to 11A, did you guys have any other questions about this one? Griffin's question was fantastic, and I do want to reemphasize that. In order for it to be a circle, if there's a number that we're going to kick out to the front, it's going to be the same on both of them. So we only have to divide by a single thing at the end. Number 11, part A. How do I do f minus g?
Subtract.
Yes, because the first thing I need to do is figure this out with just the x, and then we will sub in the 3. So we're going to do, yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you in the test just do it everything together, just substitute in, or we can do it, or we need to find first the x and after substitute.
You could substitute it in here, but you'd have to substitute it in each piece and then subtract. Yep.
But we can do that in the
Yeah. Do you guys want to do it like that here?
Sure.
Okay. Did you have a question, sir?
Can you do 3 of those? Like, obviously, it wouldn't really matter but if it were for B, it could be f of j of g. That would work. And you just substitute it in twice.
You're going to substitute it in twice. Now, part B.
Well, if it were f of j of g.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Yep.
Just that you can do
This one is multiplication. I did just want to point that out. This one has a dot in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
This one's not the little open circle, so this one's not composition, this one's multiplication. All right, so I'm going to take my function f. I'm going to go ahead and do this one as just f of x and g of x, because I want to make sure that we're combining things correctly. Because on the test, and there's a couple other questions on here, it's just to do like the subtraction or just to do the addition. So my function f of x is negative x squared plus 7. minus g of x is what? 3 minus 4x, parentheses, thank you. If you don't have the parentheses after subtraction, you're going to mess up and you will get it wrong. And I will put a big frowny sad face, probably with tears, on your paper. We're going to distribute the subtraction because remember, we are subtracting all of that. So I would have minus 3 and plus 4x. Mm-hmm.
So, since it's multiplication, we do double distribution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So here's what I get for f minus g of x. I got negative x squared plus 4x plus 4 to get this. And then I can take the 3 and put it in. You could have done that earlier on as well, but I wanted to practice with just the x's first.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you combine the 7 and negative 3?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's how I got the positive 4 on the end. Yep.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's okay. So I have negative and then 3 squared plus 4 times 3 plus 4. So what are the things that I'm combining here? What am I combining together? What do I get as I simplify this? Like terms and stuff? Yes, ma'am.
No, never mind.
Okay. Negative 9 plus 12 plus 4, which gives me what? 7. There's my final answer. I could be mistaken. Did I have a request for part B? Yes, okay. For part B, I'm going to multiply f and j together. So we're going to do f of x times j of x. So for f of x, I have negative x squared plus 7. J of x is x squared plus 3x. Double distribution here. So negative x squared gets distributed to both pieces, so I'd get negative x to the 4th minus 3x to the 3rd. And then I distribute the 7, so plus 7x squared plus 21x. Can I combine any of those together more? No. So then here is where I would substitute in that negative 6. So I would have negative and then negative 6 to the 4th power minus 3 times negative 6 to the 3rd power. Thank you. Plus 7 times negative 6 squared plus 21 times negative 6. These are some ridiculously large numbers. Negative 6 to the 4th power. How would I find that? 36 times 36. Do you guys want to know how I would do something like this quickly in my head?
Yeah, I know you described it to us.
Yeah.
but-
So to do 36 squared, I look at this like a binomial, and I square it in my head. How do we square a binomial?
That kind of makes sense.
You do things square, do things together, plus.
Yes. Yes. I look at a double-digit number when we square it like a binomial. So then I can use the exact same pattern that we've used with the others. We're going to square the 30. So 30 times 30 would be what? 900. So I'd have 900, 6 times 6? 36. What is 30 times 6? 180, and then I need to double it. 360. So I'm going to add all of those together. That's how I'm going to do this to the 4th power. So that'd be what, 1296? Yes, no?
Yes.
For me, it would have just been faster to multiply 36 by 36.
And that's fine. If that's faster for you, do that.
Yeah, without because it's happening.
We need to do 36 times negative 6 to get 6 cubed. That's 18, 19, 20, 21. So I have negative 216 times negative 3.
Are we gonna get any crazy numbers like this on the test?
Lordy, I hope not.
So that's she's not.
So what, 648? 7 times 36. That'd be what, 42, 21, minus 252. And then I have minus 126. Oh wait, yes, it's plus, sorry. For some reason, I looked a little too far over, and I thought I saw a minus 7.
Maybe plus 120.
No, because it's a positive 21 times a negative 6. So that one would be negative. What do we get when we combine them all together? A number. Will it be positive or negative? A negative number. 522.
Okay, I like to say what that is.
If you substitute when you start, is it faster? Yes.
It is so much faster.
If you substitute when you start, it is faster. If you had substituted back here, we would have 36 plus 7 times 36 minus 18. So we would end up with 43 times 18. Wait a second, there's, oh, negative.
Negative 28.
It's negative 36, so that's going to be a negative 29. My apologies. I forgot about that negative sign in front of the x squared. And then you'd multiply those two together, you get negative 522. Same answer either way.
Could you go over 9A?
9A, absolutely.
9A. Okay, yeah.
Doing a difference quotient, please, oh please, oh please, oh please, oh please remember that when we do this part right here, we're putting x plus h in the place of this x here. So f of x plus h, we are substituting that in the place of x here. I need that piece first because that's going to go in my fraction. What part of this do I have to do first as I simplify it? I have to do the squared, so we're going to square our binomial first. How do you square x plus h? Double distribution, we do the thing, so what's it going to look like? Lovely. And then I do what with all of that? Multiply it by 3. So I'm going to distribute the 3 to each piece. And I end up with 3x squared plus 6xh plus 3h squared plus 4. That goes in my numerator. all of that. That's just the first part of my numerator. Then we're going to subtract what? Yep, we're going to subtract f of x. So like this, parentheses, why?
Because it's the entire f of x.
It's the entire f of x. Please, 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 please put parentheses anytime you see a subtraction sign and we're substituting. Or again, I will have to cry all over your paper. When I distribute the negative to both of these, what does that mean is going to happen as I clean this up? Yes, my 3x squared is going to cancel because I'm subtracting it. And my 4 is going to cancel. So what do I have left then?
You take out.
6xh. What else? 3h squared all over h. Can I simplify that anymore?
Yes.
By doing what? Take out an h. So then I would have 6x plus 3h times h all over h. Then we can cancel that out. So what would my final fully simplified answer be?
6x plus
3 times 2.
Yep, 6x plus 3h. You do not need to factor out any GCFs unless you have a fraction and you're trying to see if you can reduce it. So we factored the h out because we saw that we could reduce that. But here, I'm not going to factor out a 3 because I'm not trying to reduce anything more. So I would leave it like this. Fully simplified means do not factor things out unless it's a fraction and you're trying to reduce it. That's the only time you would pull GCFs out. Okay?
So would you take points out for GD?
As long as what you wrote was equivalent, I would not. However, I happen to know that there are other teachers for this course that would. So try not to get into the habit of doing that. Yes.
So when it says fully simplified, don't take.
If it says fully simplified, then don't take GCFs out unless you're reducing things. Yes.
Could you do 18?
Number 18, absolutely. Standard equation for a parabola, not general form, not ABC form. What is standard equation for a parabola? Vertex. Yes. This is AHK form. Y equals A times X minus H squared plus K. So far, so good? All right, what pieces of information do I have?
The vertex and execution.
Yes, I have H and K, so I can take that and just sub it right in. Y equals just parentheses? A. We don't know our A value yet, but I have to think about it. And then this would be X plus 9, because it's inside parentheses. But 8 does not change signs, because it is not inside parentheses. When things go inside parentheses, that's when we have those weird backwards signs. How can I use the other piece of information they gave me to figure out what A is? Plug it in. What am I plugging in? They only gave me one number. Yes. They have given me an intercept, so I know that means 2, 0. So I do it like this, right? Is that right? Why not? 2 goes in for X. Y is 0. 2 is X. Okay? Tell me what to do.
Add 2 and 9 and then square.
Yep, add 2 and 9. I'm going to do this at the same time to save myself some space. So I get 8 equals A times 11 squared 121. So what is A?
8 over 1.
8 over 121.
I got this, but I thought it was too insane for it to actually be right.
So 8 over 121 goes in the place of A. So I have y equals 8 over 121 times x plus 9 squared minus 8.
Oh my god.
Would this one have a maximum or a minimum? Minimum, because what's positive? A is positive. So yeah, it's going to be a smiley face. Yes, D'Amico.
Did the pass come down for me to go down to the office?
Hmm?
Did the pass come down for me to go down to the office?
Yes, it did. I apologize. I got distracted. All right. Do you guys want to see anything else? Do you want to go over any of the story problems? So remember, you got to take this and square it. Right there. Which one? I'm sorry.
17.
17. Yeah.
The maximum and minimum.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna.
All right. So what do I need to do to this thing to get it in the form that they want it in? Complete the square. You guys are going to be masters of completing the square.
Oh yeah.
What do I do with my constant?
Move it.
Move it. Kick it to the other side. So I'm going to add 11 to both sides first. And I'm just going to ignore my function notation for right now. So I'm going to have 11 equals negative 3x squared plus 18x.
And you take out negative 3.
Take out negative 3. We're going to kick that to the front. So over on the left, I'm going to have 11 plus, and then on this line, I've got to have that negative 3. Anything I kick to the front goes on that line. So then I have x squared minus 6x plus something. What is that something? 9. So I put 9 here and here. So I have 11 minus 27 over here equals negative 3 times x minus 3 squared. What is 11 minus 27? Negative 16. So what would this be in standard form? Yes. Okay, I heard f of x equals, and then I heard negative 3, and then I couldn't hear the rest. X minus 3 squared plus 16. There we are in standard form. Is this going to have a maximum or a minimum? Maximum, because a is negative here. The maximum happens at what x value?
Positive 3?
Positive 3 because why?
A.
Yes. It's inside parentheses. It's h. Anytime we're inside parentheses, the actual location is the opposite sign. So the x part of the maximum would be 3, but what is the maximum value? 16. It's the 16 that I'm mostly interested in because that is the maximum value. That is the maximum output, the biggest output we would ever have. I do want to know where it happens. If you wrote it just as the vertex 316 and you said that was a max, I would still give you full points for that. Yes, ma'am.
So is 3 because A or because what is in parentheses?
Because of this right here. We would do x minus 3, set it equal to 0, and so I get x equals 3. That's where this 3 came from.
You said we could look at one of the word problems?
Absolutely. Which one of the word problems did you guys want to look at? there aren't any word problems printed on here. It was down at the bottom of the last page. It tells you to look at 3 different word problems in your book. Find it's page 162, I believe. I am not going to write the whole thing out. Let's look at 54. I like that one. So page 54, or not page 54, number 54. Number 54 says the growth of a blue whale. Newborn blue whales are approximately 24 feet long and weigh 3 tons at birth. They're nursed for 7 months, and by the time of weaning, they're often 53 feet long and 23 tons. So part A says if L, that's the length, and and T, the time, are linearly related, express L in terms of T. All right. If it says in terms of, this piece right here is my independent variable. It's like my x. The thing that I'm supposed to express in terms of that is my dependent variable. It's like my y. What do I know about length and time for these whales? I need things that go together. Lengths and times that go together. I heard 24 and 0, but which one are we using in the x spot? Because I need to make ordered pairs. 0 for time and 24 for the length. What else do I know that goes together? 7 and 53. Because I need to write an equation out of this. They told me which variables I was going to be looking at, and because of the way they had the second part of this sentence, I knew which one was supposed to be my x, my independent. It's in terms of, that's your x. How can I write a linear equation using this information? What am I going to need? Yes. We're going to write this y equals mx plus b. So what pieces do I need? B is 24. How do we know? Yep. This is my y-intercept.
And then you could put in point, right?
We can do point slope, but I'm going to have to find the slope, right?
Yeah.
So how much are my y's changing by? Yep. 53 minus 24 up here. Over what? Over 7 minus 0. So Brendan, what would I have in the numerator then for the slope? 29. So it's 29 over 7. There's our slope, our rate of change. You said you don't know what's happening?
I got sidetracked. Don't even know.
We found our slope. Now I need to write my equation. What variable are we using instead of a y? L. So this is going to be an L equals equation. L equals what? 29 over 7 t, because they wanted me to use t instead of x, plus 24. You guys okay with how we did that?
Is this right or not?
Okay. You forgot your parentheses here.
Oh.
So this would cancel, but your 4 is also going to cancel. And that's not going to, yep.
5 times.
And these guys are going to cancel out because that'll be a plus there.
Okay.
Yep, remember your parentheses there. Let's look at part B, and then we'll look at part C. This one also has a part D, but I don't think I'm going to have time to get to it. It says, what is the daily increase in the length of a young whale? What is the daily increase in the length? How are we measuring time up above? In months. So what does this 29 over 7 mean?
Every
29 over 7. What is the 29 coming from?
the slope thing. Wait, it's the
How did we get 29?
change in y.
Change in y, and what does y mean here? Length. So this is 29 feet for each what?
7.
Yes. For each 7 months. How do I change that into each day or each however many days?
Depends on which month, but you could add all the months up in average, or just say 30.
We're going to say 30. The book actually says to use 30 for a month. So how do I change this then? So I multiply by 30?
30 over 30.
Yeah, 30 over 30.
30 over 30. Are you sure?
No.
Yes.
I don't know why you're going for what I'm saying. I'm just wondering.
My numerator is in feet, right?
If we want to daily, is that
Divide by
for
30.
dividing?
It's 1 over.
You divide 1 over 30.
Why would it be 1 over 30?
Guys,
What does the 1 represent?
Oh, yeah, it's the same. Oh, yeah.
One day is the same as 30 months?
no, 1 month.
1 month is the same as 30 days. Are you guys okay with that? That fraction is the same as a 1, right? Because the numerator and the denominator are equivalent lengths of time. Can I cross cancel anything?
The months.
The months. Who's taken physics?
I am.
We cross cancel units just like we can cross cancel numbers and variables.
Yay.
So what would my numerator be?
29.
29 over 210, and that would be what? Feet per day.
Oh, did we do some of this in algebra?
Mhm.
Too much.
Now you have to find the increase, and now you have to plug it into the problem like this.
For part C, if W and T are linearly related,
Weight and time?
Weight and time. Express W in terms of T. So what kind of ordered pairs can we write?
Wait, 0, 3, 7, 23.
0, 3, and 7, 23. The x's stayed the same because I'm still talking about time as my independent variable. Now the weight is my y value. So what is our slope this time?
New things.
20 over 7. Yep. So what does my equation look like then? 20 over 7t plus 3. There's only one problem. That's an expression, not an equation. Equals W. Yes. Make sure you write me an equation if it asks for an equation. How did we figure out which one was x? In terms of. That's your independent. That's your x. You guys okay? I will have the answers with the work for all of these up after school today. Okay? If you have any questions, especially if it's from something in the homework before, and you want to go through it with me, please send me messages over the weekend. Test is on Monday, and guys, we won't have time to study beforehand. So if you want to ask me questions, come into the room before the bell. I can talk to you before the bell.
Is it a 1 day or 2 day test?
It is a one-day test.